Hi, boys. Welcome to this very special video today. I've got a friend of mine and a very, very successful SMA owner. So it's going to be huge value today. Nathan's actually a client of mine for my agency, but he also runs his own agency. So we're going to dive into it and yeah, it should be a good one. So first starting off, Nathan, how are you? Who are
I'm
you?
good.
Introduce yourself and go from
I'm
there.
good. I'm good. So I'm Nathan. I'm 22 right now. I'm turning 23 in like a couple months. I've been running an agency for roughly like I would say fully corporated for like a little under a year.
Yeah,
But we've been doing a lot of freelance work with me and my partner for, over a year and stuff like that. And we really got into it. I would say in the beginning of August of last year, if not
yeah,
like June, July, but really took off for me and like the November months and stuff like that. And that's when we really scaled enormously. And we've been on a super high hot streak. And that's why, even
yeah.
though Luke does all my content, he hasn't gotten a lot of content out for me.
It's
Like
slow. It's slow.
yeah, it's been like 4 months and we haven't even gotten 30 videos out. But
Yeah.
it's because I'm extremely busy. But this is a
Yeah.
good time. So
Hmm.
yeah, the
Yeah.
content is definitely important and he helps me with that.
Yeah, cool. We're going to jump all into things SMA, giving beginners, free advice and stuff. But I just want to start off with what is your story? What was the origin story of making online income? Because some people jump straight into SMA, some people try and do other stuff. Were you a loser working at Starbucks, and then you were like, yo, I need to.
So,
What's
I
the story?
mean, the story is like really long. I didn't really start making money online until like I was probably like 21, 22,
Yeah.
like just turned 22. So like realistically this year is when I really started making money online.
Yep.
I was in college. I graduated college and my senior year of college, I was sitting there and I was like, I'm gonna get a job. I actually got a really good job, which I was super happy with.
Really?
And that
What was it?
I worked in commercial real estate. I was a data analyst and I,
Oh
I did
shit!
some
Yeah,
sales. So like it was a really good job.
yeah,
And I was super hyped when I first got it. I was like, this is amazing. This is everything I've ever
yeah, yeah,
wanted.
yeah.
And then the third month rolled around of me going into the office every day at 9 in the morning, and leaving the office at like 7 p.m. because I was the new guy and I was the youngest one there and they were all
Yeah.
just shitting on me. But that rolled around and I was like, something is wrong. Like like
Mm.
this is not what it was promised to. And I remember like when I didn't get that job yet, I mean everyone was in like Hustlers University at the time. Like I got into like Kate's course and everything, and I was like trying to do some like copywriting and stuff like that. And then my partner, actually he tried to launch like some clothing brand or something,
Mm.
and he had a lot of experience with like Facebook ads. And like every other person, we're like, how can we do this? How can we like start making money with this? I'm sick and tired of this job. And I actually didn't quit that job until November of last year. So like when I was
Damn.
building the whole agency and making all the content and doing 2 to 3 videos a day,
Yeah.
I was working full time. Like I was like in the office every day. And then I remember I didn't even quit. Like I told him like, hey, like, do you mind if I like work from home like 2 days a week? Like, it's
Mm.
expensive for me to drive there. And they were like, yeah. And then 2 days turned into four. And then four
Mm.
days turned into like I just never showed up to the office. And then I really quit in like December, like middle of December.
Yeah.
They were like, listen, buddy, like you're not coming in. And I was like, I know, like I think this is like where we part ways. Um, but I left on good terms, and we did do some work with them later on because they were real estate, and like my beginning of the agency space was local lead gen for real estate companies. That's where like I really got started because
Mm.
I knew the space. So for me, it was like it was super easy to sell to all these like brokerages, or
Yeah, yeah.
in England, you guys call them like estate agents
Real
and stuff
estate,
like
yeah,
that.
stages,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it was super easy for me to sell to them because like I spoke that language. I worked in that
yeah. Mm.
field for like 6 months. I know how they talk. I know how they like, I knew where to find them. I knew what
Mm.
they wanted, what they needed. So that was like a really easy pivot for me. And then it just, it started taking off. And as my social media platforms took off more and more and more, we just started getting more clients in the door who weren't always real estate agents. A lot of online businesses, e-com stores, stuff like that, coaches, consultants, and basically just took off from there. And
Mm.
we basically only work with online businesses. I do have some local lead gen clients, but that's like the ones that I've had for a while. And it's only out
Yeah,
of respect to that they've been with me for that long that I still keep them around.
yeah, 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 100%. So it sounds like a very like similar beginning to most people. I was actually in
Yeah.
Hustlers University as well doing copywriting.
Yeah, I think everyone did that.
Yeah,
Everyone started with
yeah,
that, and it was like
yeah.
that was like my first taste of like, oh, you can really make money online. Like you don't
Mm,
need to go and work a job. But even
mm,
when I did that, I wasn't like, oh, I'm set to like this is what I'm gonna do. Like, you know what I mean? Like I worked like hundreds of different jobs. I was a waiter. I worked
mm.
valet for like these like golf clubs and stuff like that. And that was like I thought I was cool when I was doing that because I was like, damn, I'm in these like Lamborghinis, Bentleys, like I get to drive
Yeah,
them
yeah,
from
yeah.
like here to here. And like I thought I was
Mindset
the
wise, that
man.
must have been quite, like mindset wise, seeing that,
Yeah.
actually visualizing that,
Yeah,
and
it was
having
it
it.
was definitely really cool. And like that teaches, I think the biggest reason people always ask me like how can I talk to people? How can I cold call people? How can I
Mm,
like talk to anyone? And I think the main thing for me is that like I've had that experience, right? So like being a waiter, you talk and work for your tips. Being in valet, it's the same thing. If you're nice and friendly and you crack a joke and you talk to them, like you earn more money. So like for anyone who's like struggling with like social anxiety or talking to people or like sales, like just put yourself in situations where you're literally forced to talk to people.
yeah,
And that's like a big thing that I tell like some of my friends too, who are like, whoa, like I don't know how to do this. Like just put yourself in a situation like somebody says, oh, I have social anxiety or I don't know how to sell. I'm like, go work door-to-door sales. Like
yeah,
literally go work door-to-door
yeah,
sales and just knock on the doors and talk to these people because
yeah,
these people don't want to talk to you. They don't want to have a conversation with you. They don't want you to even be there.
yeah,
But if you can get past that, like you'll be good at sales. You'll be good at
yeah.
communicating. And in turn, that comes into making good content. If you can
Mm,
sell yourself over the camera and sell yourself on the content you make, like that's the key. All these people that you guys probably look up to, I don't know who exactly, but like they're all at heart, they're all incredible salespeople. Like I mean, Iman, incredible
yeah,
salesperson. Andrew Tate sells himself nonstop. All these like
yeah.
big guys, Alex Hermosi, they're all incredible salespeople, and that's why you watch them because they're amazing salespeople.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's such a good piece of advice for beginners because I feel like a beginner coming to the space is just like, I want to make money quick. I want to make all this money. But I actually think you should probably humble yourself, go get a real job in the real world, get that real experience. And it's going to actually help you so much when starting something like an agency.
Of
Um,
course.
yeah. And so it sounds like you were quite hesitant to leave your job. I just want to kind of dig into your mindset when you were like, okay, like Nathan, if I was just making 4K a month, like what was the like figure in your mind that made you like, okay, I'm gonna quit?
So the thing with like leaving my job, it's not that I was
Yeah,
like hesitant about it. I
yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to leave at that point. I really wanted to leave. I just needed to like prove to myself that this was something that would like last and be sustainable and I'd be
yeah,
able to grow it, right? Because like, I mean, I'm not gonna say I wasn't making any more. Like I was making a good salary. I think it was like $4 or $5,000 a month. Plus we got like commission on sales. So like
yeah,
it could range. Some months could be 8, 9,000, other months could be like 3 grand, 5 grand. But I think I needed to prove to myself that like I can do something I like to do and make money off of it. And at that
mm,
time, like I was just scraping by anything. Like I remember I got like 30,000 followers or something at like November time, and I was like, oh, I can take brand deals. Like now I
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
now
yeah,
I
yeah,
like I sit here and I'm like, if I even get offered a brand deal half of the time, I'm like, I don't want to touch that. Like I don't need
yeah,
that. But like at that time everything was so new to me and I was like, wow, this is really possible. Like people are paying a lot of money to one work with us, to be associated with us and stuff. Like I remember at a company come to me and they were like, I will pay you 2 grand for a video. And I was like, 2 grand for a video?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah.
kidding me. I was sitting there like, what is going on?
It's
It's not
crazy.
possible. But you have to like kind of not go off of the path of what you're doing, right? So a big mistake that a lot of people make is like they start something, it starts working from them, and then another opportunity comes up and they turn their head right away.
Yeah,
And they're
absolutely.
like, "Oh, boom, I need to do this because the attention, the shiny object syndrome is like,
Yeah,
yeah, this is working, but I need to grab the next thing." And in reality, like you shouldn't do that. You should focus all your attention on one thing and grow it as much as you can, and then when it's at a point where you feel like, okay, I've done enough, I'm okay with staying here, that's when you pivot and do something else,
yeah,
not when you are just starting. Because I think the biggest, and I know you're going to ask this question, like, what is the thing that gets you to 10K a month or 30K a month? It's like, it's
yeah,
the momentum. It's really
yeah,
the momentum. And you know this too. Like, you
yeah.
can go from one client to 10 clients really quick, but that
Oh,
first one is going to be the hardest one in the world. But
mm,
after that, it's like a domino effect. And like, you probably have people in your Discord server and stuff like that who are, they land one client and then the next week it's like they land three more and then four
Mhm.
more and then five. And it's because it's a snowball that gets bigger and bigger the more you push it. And if you stop
Yeah,
pushing it, it starts to melt.
yeah.
And that's when everything gets, whoa, like what just happened? This is now I need to figure everything out again.
Yeah, and I'd just add on to that point, guys. Nathan literally referred us like a ton of clients in his network, so it can really happen.
No, yeah. And it's like,
Yeah,
because honestly, you guys came, you had a good offer, you had a good pay. And
yep,
then, like, that was the thing. You guys had what, two clients at the time, or
yep,
like three clients at the time?
yep,
And you had a good offer, you had a good pitch, you guys knew what you were doing, everything sounded good. And
yep,
I, I put you into the network that I had because that's just what we all do. Like, that's the port idea of networking, right? Like if
yep,
you have somebody who needs ads and who needs this, you send them my
yep,
way. If my network is at
100%.
this point, it's very large, and like I have a lot of people that I, communicate with on a daily basis.
Hmm.
But everybody has their own skill set, everybody has their own success, and we all grow together. It's not like we're
Yeah,
competing with each other, right? And me and you are not competing with each other. We're
yeah,
helping each other grow together. And that's what you really need to find in your network, is you need to find people that you grow with, not that you're competing with. Because when you're
yeah,
competing with them, it becomes like one, discouraging, and sometimes, and also like it becomes very difficult to have an actual genuine connection that benefits both of you.
yeah, yeah. There's no advantage to competing for sure, and I
Yeah.
think I want to kind of break down because you have well you guys might know Nathan from TikTok. You might have seen him on TikTok, and you kind of had two businesses at a time. So it was your personal brand, well you still do, the personal brand and the actual agency. So when I want to first focus on the agency side of things, what was the like? Okay, so I've done copyright, done all this bullshit, right? What made you attracted to the SMA business model? And then how did you go from zero clients, having that spot where you just have no clients, to the first client? Then how did it snowball?
So the big thing for us was like you said, my personal brand and my agency are very separated, right?
Yeah,
So like my personal brand, I talk about everything under the sun, whatever I feel like. Sometimes my agency, but I don't get deep into like exactly how we do stuff at the agency.
yeah,
But I will say the more views I got, the more leads I got no matter what, right? So if I had a
yeah,
million view video, that would easily be 10 to 15 people who are really, really interested in working with the agency, not only me, because they like the way I spoke, they like my views, they like what I was talking about. But the first client and stuff like that did not come from online. I didn't, realistically speaking, I didn't start getting clients online until like November, December. Like,
yeah,
no, I would say not December, probably beginning of November was when we started getting real clients online. Um, and I tell some of my friends this, and you can even ask them. My first client came from, I got in my car, I drove around, and I saw a real estate agency, and I was like, I need to walk in. And I just walked
Jesus.
in and I started talking to them. And
Hmm.
I remember I literally told them, I was like, listen, like, we'll set it up for you, we'll do it for you, and like you get the returns, then you pay us. And at that time, like they paid me, I think it was like $300 to set up two ad campaigns.
Yeah, yeah,
And I was like, yes, we did it. Like that was like the first taste after like
yeah,
watching all these YouTube videos and like saying how to sell to people. I never did cold email. I still don't do cold email. We
yeah,
barely do cold DMs. I run a lot of ads and we get a lot of inbound from the organic content and just people referring. But that was my first time of like, okay, I sold somebody on something. Now it's time to deliver.
mm,
And that's a big thing that I think people also don't understand is like they're so focused on selling somebody that when they sell them, the service that they deliver is garbage.
yeah,
And then you
yeah,
lose them. And what you have to understand about the business world is people are very intertwined, right? So if you can sell somebody and you do a good job for them, they're going to talk about you. They're going to tell their friends, they're going to tell their circle, they're going to tell, especially if it's in an industry like real estate or something like that, they are super well connected. And that one good result for one person will bring you 20, 30 clients because you
100%.
did really good by this one person. So sometimes don't try to grab as much money as you can in the beginning and try to actually deliver a good service and a good offer, and it will pay back in
Yeah.
dividends and in amazingness for you.
Yeah, yeah, and what I've noticed is as well because I used to think when starting, and I will just say quickly, guys, this is why I brung Nathan on, dropping the absolute source, and also like just for acquisition as well. It can be anything as simple as walking into a shop, actually building up the confidence to actually go in and pitch someone in real life. But what I noticed that was when I was starting my agency, I thought it was all about outreach, right? Send more outreach, send more, send more. But I actually think service delivery is the most important,
Of course.
because it's like without referrals, without actually, and then you just start building a brand around your agency. You start developing a pedigree
Yeah.
for becoming an agency that's actually good. And yeah, I think what was the initial phase from, okay, so did you sign that client? So it was
Yeah,
the
it was three
yeah,
hundred
yeah,
dollars for two ads
yeah, and
that
then
we launched, and then we did the spend for them,
yep,
and it actually went really well for them. And
yep,
then they just were not in the position to sign a retainer at that point. They were a
yeah,
smaller
yeah,
agents, like a real estate agency, and they didn't have the capital to really do that.
mm,
But we did some like work for them here and there, and it helped them a lot. They got a bunch of leads, and then from that point on, I was like, okay, I proved that I can do this. I think we had a campaign with them that was like 120 leads in a month, which is
yeah,
crazy,
yeah, crazy,
on like 2 grand ad spend. And I was like, okay, I've proved that I can do it. Now I just need to mass do what I'm doing. So I
yeah,
literally remember I'd go on Google Maps and I would search up these places, and I would go and walk in. Because yeah, cold email works. Yeah, cold calling for me was really good because I had that presence on the phone. I knew how to do
yeah,
it.
yeah,
But the best way that you're ever going to close somebody is when you are literally in front of them. And like
yeah,
I've cold called people, and they've been like, "Where are you located in your business?" And I'm like, "We're located in New York." And they're like, "So are we. Let's meet." Like I've had that, and I've had a lot of in-person pitches, and I'm sure you've had a couple like that too. Um,
mm,
but those are honestly the hardest, but those are the ones that are like closing. And then
yeah,
after that, of course, I focused more on the personal brand. I focused heavily into running the ads that we run for my company, and we just scaled based on just our ability to sell people on the phone. And then of course the service delivery that we provided, because without service delivery, I would have crazy churn. I would have a client one
yeah,
month
yeah,
and
yeah,
lose them the
yeah,
next.
yeah,
So that's the main thing when you guys talk about like MRR and stuff like that. I will not take on more clients than I know that I can deliver for, or I will not take
mm,
on a client that I know I can't deliver for. So the first thing I tell every one of my clients on the first call is, if we decide to work together, the first month there is no contract. It's our fee, and that's it. We don't take any percentage of the business, and that's my month to decide if we can work with you and you can work with us, because I don't want to sign
oh
somebody on a
yeah,
3 or 4 or 6 month contract and then them be a horrible client, or we don't deliver to the level that they want. Most of the time after that first month, I see how they are to work with. I see what kind of results we bring them. I see if they're happy or not. I see stuff like that. And then we talk about a long-term, agreement and partnership. But if we blow it out of the water for them, then they're signing that 3 or 6 month,
yeah, yeah,
contract. No questions asked. So I would always give people a trial of whatever serve, even at the level I'm at where we have the results, we have the proof, we have everything. I still
mm,
do that because that makes people understand that, like, oh, he's gonna work to keep me as a client, not he
mm,
just wants my money and then he's gonna dip.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
And I think that's such a good mindset to have as an agency owner and running your company, because I know there's a lot of my boys would have heard that and they would have been like, no, no, but I need a client. I'd rush for a client and stuff like that. But it just goes to show, like, at the top of this game, this is how people think,
Oh, of
and
course.
yeah, this is how it's actually going to be scalable. I think a lot of my audience right now are kind of in the personal branding kind of niche and stuff like that, and they want to start their own. What was the initial first steps to starting your personal brand on TikTok, and how long did how much do you have to be consistent? How much does quality play a role? What was
Um,
the
I think it's just about you as a person, right? So
yeah,
the consistency is very important in the beginning, and I say the volume is very important in the beginning because nobody knows who you are.
yeah,
You have no audience, you have no nothing. The more you get out in the beginning, the better it is to scale for you, and the faster you will grow. Now,
yeah,
don't compromise the quality of the actual videos to push out more, right? But
yeah,
I was doing two a day, for 2 months, and like
yeah.
3 months even. Like I wouldn't go to sleep until I knew that the videos for tomorrow were ready. Like that was a really
Unlike
bad,
now.
yeah, that was a really, really bad time for me because like that
Mm,
consumed me, right? So like we talked to my
yeah, yeah,
partner, I was like, this is gonna work. He was like, okay, I'll work on the back end stuff and fulfillment, and you just grow this personal brand. And that became everything. I was editing all my videos. I was consuming a bunch of content because I needed to see what other people were doing. Whether as now, like I probably have like 40 minutes of screen time on TikTok, like a
All my
day.
videos.
Yeah, all your videos, all my friends' videos. And honestly, now I go on TikTok and I go and watch people who I like. Like I'll go to my profile and go to people I follow and actually watch people who I I want to watch, not
Mm,
so much on the For You page, because for me now that time is so valuable that I don't want to sit there and waste it just scrolling like, oh, here
100%.
next, you know what I mean? I
Yeah,
don't want to
yeah,
do
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But in the beginning that was it. It was consume content, create similar content, and just learn as much as you can as fast as you can. So I was watching YouTube videos how to edit. I was watching YouTube videos how people do content like this. I was watching YouTube videos about how people formulate ideas. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's me as a person. I get extremely obsessed and addicted to something,
Um,
and then I need to become the best at it. I need to,
yeah,
do everything. And I mean, my growth was exponential for,
yeah,
I think I did 100K in like 3 months, 4 months, and then and I mean, it was growing until I
yeah,
stopped posting, basically.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And now for me, it's not that it's not something that's important to me. It's
Mm-hmm.
that I'm struggling to find the uh push and drive to continue to do it, right? So I understand it's
Yeah,
important for me. I understand it will bring me more revenue in the business, even though we have other avenues that bring us a lot of revenue. It's just for me, I don't want to put stuff out there that I feel like I'm forcing myself to put out there. I want
yeah, yeah, yeah.
to genuinely put stuff out there that I'm interested and want to put out there, right? So like
Mm.
I want to have the drive, and it comes, maybe I needed a break because I did go very hard for 3 or 4 months of just nonstop.
Yeah,
Maybe I
that
did need a
kills you.
break to go away from it.
Yeah.
But it's not something that is like in the very hard cards for me right now. Like it's not I have my non-negotiables, and that's not a non-negotiable for me right now.
Mm. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And I think I've seen that as well with needing a break because a lot of content, scripting the ideas, coming up with this, coming with that is very, 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 very tiring. I just want to ask if someone, because there's obviously a lot of beginners listen to this, and we've all been there. You've been there as well. I just want to say Nathan's growth, like your growth, is like if you think about when you started compared to where you are now, in both like the branding and the agency, is nuts. Um,
Thank you.
what would you say to a beginner coming in? Because I think we can both admit from being experienced agency owners, and by the way, I started around the same time as you, so August. Um, it's probably the most difficult it's been, right? Around kind of, you know,
I think the idea of difficult is interesting to me because it's always very difficult to start something. It's always very
that's true.
difficult to
Yeah.
get that right thing. It's always very difficult to come up with an offer that people want. It's always
Hmm.
very difficult to sell to people. But the difference between the people who succeed and the people who don't succeed is simply just the ability to put your head down and know that what you're saying and doing is gonna have the payoff in the long run.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people get in this game for like the short, quick burst of money. They think they're gonna buy a Lamborghini tomorrow and like make $300,000 in the first week. Like, no, that's not gonna happen. I'm not here
Mm.
to promise you that that's gonna happen in the next week, in the next month. Like, I'm not even at that stage yet, and I've been at it for a year, and I don't think I will be at that stage for at least another year. But I
Yeah.
have friends who I know who are at that stage. But like a good example for me is like Renzo
Mm.
Guevara. He's just now starting on TikTok. I think he's grown to like 30K in like I want to say 2 months.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
he runs an agency that does over $150,000 a month.
Damn.
Um
What's his offer?
and
What's the in?
he does growth consulting. He does a lot of
Ah,
VA stuff. He does a lot of
yeah.
stuff, and he has Instagram shout outs and stuff like that. But
Cool.
me coming and looking at him, I was like, damn, this guy has done it so quickly. He's been in the game for 5 years.
Yeah.
And when I heard that, I was like, wow, I'm a fish. Like this guy, the reason he's at this level is because he's been in the game for 5 years. He's
Mm.
dedicated himself for 5 years. And he even told me, he was like, listen, the first year for me, like you're way ahead. Like the first year for me sucked. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a lot of you guys don't understand that like for some of you who reach that 4K within 2 months, or even that 10K within 2 months, you are one of the people who has the ability to scale inevitably. You are one of the people who, if put head down, you will succeed. And the rest of you who don't reach that level, I've never seen anybody commit themselves to something for 6 to 7 months and not succeed.
Yeah.
And I mean, like
100%.
in general, like overall and stuff, like my partner with ads, like he's a wizard. He is a wizard, but he's been at this the same way I watch the content and I watch the sales stuff. he has been on this nonstop for over a year and a half. So of course he knows everything about ads. It's just, how can you not? He's watched everything. He knows everything.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing. Like, commit yourself, make those non-negotiables with yourself, and you will grow as a person, and you will be successful. It's not possible to not be successful.
Yeah. What role does, because it's easy, very easy to talk about like, oh, you need to do this outreach, this offer, this and that. What role does just overall personal development in your actual life play a role in how successful you're going to be?
Oh, everything.
It's
I think
everything.
your
Yeah.
I think your personal development and your mentality are the number one thing that holds most people back, right? So I
Yeah.
used to think, I don't want to curse too much because it's going on YouTube, but like I used to
Yeah.
think
Bro,
that
I'm
was like
monetized now, G. Chill.
I used to think that all of the personal development, all those guys telling you meditate, go to the
Yeah.
gym, do that. Like, I mean, I thought all of that was like just a an hierarchy scheme of
Yeah.
like,
Same.
oh, they don't want to tell you what to really do. No,
Yeah.
it is literally the most pivotal thing that you can do. If you, I think a big person who when I do watch content, who I do watch content right now, is Luke Belmar. And
Yeah.
the number one thing that he always says throughout everything is, if you are not where you want to be, it's because of the information that you are taking in.
Yeah.
You are not where you want to be, not because you're not, something didn't happen right for you. It's because of the information and the stuff that you're feeding yourself. If you're sitting there feeding yourself 10 hours a day of TikTok content that's making you laugh and be stupid, then your outcome will be based on that.
Yeah.
If you are sitting there and ingesting 10 hours of quality content about business, about stuff like that, that's where you're going to end up being, because what you consume is what you get out. That is just the most basic input. And it's the same with going to the gym. I hated going to the gym because I was an athlete my whole life in college, and I was forced to go to the gym. So once I got out of college, I was like, okay, I can take a break.
Yeah.
Since I've come back to the gym after taking my 3 or 4 month break, my productivity levels have been 10x.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm not in the gym to be the biggest guy. Like, that's not how I go. I go to the gym now for an hour and a half to 2 hours because I want to feel good the rest of the day. I wake up at 8,
Yeah.
8 in the morning, 7:30 in the morning. I go to the gym just to feel good the rest of the day. Feel like,
Mm.
okay, this is what I did and stuff like that. And it's the same with like mental stuff, like reading and stuff like that. Some of you don't read. Okay, don't read. Like, that's just another way of consuming information. I hated
Yeah.
reading until I found books that actually kept me interested for a long while. And then I
Yeah.
loved
Yeah.
reading. You know what I mean? So,
What's your top three? Just quickly.
uh, I got you right now.
Put you
This
on
is
the
actually,
spot. I'll put you on the
this is
spot here,
one,
but
this is one that I'm reading right now that I promise you, if you guys have not read this, you
just jump.
should.
Yeah. Let's just see
The
this one.
book is, I'll give you top three. Thinking Grow Rich is the most
I'll go for
basic one that everyone should
Yeah,
read.
yeah, yeah. But everyone should
Intel
read that. Yeah.
Intelligent Investor is more of a real estate based one that I read a
Yep.
lot. Hermosi's book is amazing. You can finish that in literally
100
one
million
day.
offers.
Yeah, $100 million
Yeah,
offer. You
yeah,
can
yeah.
finish that in
Fire.
one day. There's like all the basic ones, 48 Laws of Power, a very good book, also stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah, yeah.
Um, there's, of course, I think it's like the story of like hope and how it kills you. That's like a
Mm.
mental one. That one
Yeah,
tells you like that hope is nothing without basically like putting your foot in front of the other and doing stuff like that.
yeah.
But the number one book that I would recommend right now, and there's actually a free PDF, you can get it online because you'll not buy this book. It's literally like $600 or $700. I don't even have a
Oh,
physical
damn.
copy. It's called Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene M. Schwartz. Shout out Luke Belmar again. Put me on that. I'm like
Oh, damn.
400 pages in already.
Oh,
It's
really?
absolutely crazy. That book is what all your favorite content creators and everyone is doing. That's where they learned everything from. They are literally
Damn.
advertising to
You might have
you.
to
And
send
when,
me it after me,
yeah,
man.
well, I will gladly send you like the whole
Yeah, yeah,
PDF.
yeah. Do
It's
it, do it,
it's
do it.
very long, but it's amazing book. And that is where everyone who
Mm.
you look up to is learning everything that they know from.
Yeah,
And reading it over now, I'm sitting here like, wow, this is absolutely insane. Like
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
that is really like a mental breakthrough for me. And it's stuff like that. Like, if you're not motivated to read, it's because you're not reading the right things. If you're not
Yeah,
motivated to go to the gym, it's because you're mentally not, you don't understand what kind of value that brings to your life, right?
yeah,
If something is holding you back, you don't it's because of the information you're taking in, and it's because you don't understand how much that will really help you succeed. So like,
yeah.
people are like, the gym is a good example for me, and I know it's used 100 times over and over and over again, but it's
It's
like,
such a good one though.
why would I go to the gym if it doesn't have any effect on me actually making money? Okay, if you can't discipline yourself to do something that you don't want, like you don't want to
Mm,
go to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym half of the time, but I still wake up and do it. It's because you can't discipline yourself to do the things that you won't. So when
yeah,
you're gonna have to, everyone thinks that life is so glorious. When I have to sit here a whole day in front of this whole screen and write 200 ad copies and talk to 300 different people about how their ads are running and this and that, I don't want to do that. I
yeah.
don't want to say, I don't want to
Gets
do that,
boring.
but I do have to do that. And
Mm,
I can discipline myself to do that. So if you have no simple discipline, like to just get up and do stuff that you know you have to do, then you will
mm,
never make it. You won't.
yeah, yeah, 100%. I think there's 4 minutes 20 left on this
Oh, we
Google
got to
Meet,
restart it. We got to restart it.
and I just want to say like this is why I brought Nathan on. Like I said, so much value. I want to ask you just how long are we going for?
How long have we been going for this?
Yeah. Like I was gonna
Oh,
ask
like,
just
oh, we got 4 minutes left in this, and then we
all
could
right,
just restart it.
all right. I was just gonna ask, what's your personal goals for the the end of this year? What's not even just agency wise, like just yourself and then agency wise, maybe revenue wise. Give the guys a little bit of number and then we'll wrap up.
I don't like to put revenue numbers on stuff.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of like personal goals. So I'm moving to Florida,
Oh yeah, of
um,
course.
for tax reasons and other reasons too. But like my big goals for the end of this year is property. I want at least one
Nice.
or
Yeah.
two properties. Just to I'm looking to Airbnb now, just to do
You've
stuff
been
like that
studying it
with.
or
Yeah, I've been very
yeah,
heavy. We
nice.
actually have an Airbnb coach as a client, and I've been on the phone with him nonstop for like the last, 2
You
months.
got to leverage your connections, man.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. That's a big thing, right? So
Yeah.
I help him, he helps me.
Yeah.
And then another big goal is definitely to more put myself into growing the personal brand because I've slowed down in
Yeah.
2023. I want to turn that around and grow it more to a point because I know inevitably the more I grow that, the bigger the business will get.
Yep.
And in terms of revenue, I really don't put revenue goals on stuff like that, but
Yeah.
I'd like to be at 70K a month.
Yeah.
70, 80K a month was really the goal for 2023. And
Nice.
I mean, that comes in here and there because I do consulting sometimes, and that's like a 10, 15K payout, right on
Yeah.
the spot. But
Yeah.
I really want to focus in on, I don't want to go into too many different, fields. I want to focus in on the agency, focus in on property because that's really how you go from rich to wealthy.
Yep.
And then focus in on the personal brand and just grow that because that's going to be another never-ending monetization stream.
Yeah, we can help you out on that. That
Yeah, definitely,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, Nathan, it's been fantastic having you on. This
Awesome,
has been
man. Thank you
fire.
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No worries, man. I hope you see a ton of value from Nathan. Um, where can they find you, man?
On TikTok, it's official Nathan V. There's only one. There's a bunch of fake accounts, but the top one, of course, is the
Gotta say,
one
of
that's
course, it's
me.
from
And
your
then
name, man.
I am on YouTube a little bit. I haven't really posted, but we'll be doing more
Yeah.
content on there.
Yeah. And I just want to say, if Nathan ever does launch coaching for you guys, you need to get on that straight away because we've had many coaching calls just
Yeah.
sitting there for hours.
I don't know if I ever will launch coaching.
Bro,
Not that I
you
don't
would do well,
Not
man.
that not that I don't want to give people value. I just
Yeah.
don't see the like I'm not personally someone who ever went through that, so I will never sell that to other people. If people
Yeah.
come to me like especially in the Instagram DMs, and they ask legitimate questions and I've seen that they've put in the work, I will always
Yep.
take the time to answer. And you guys are a prime
Yeah.
example of that.
Yeah.
But if somebody comes to me and they're like, "Hey, I need help." Yeah, that's gone. That's not going to happen.
Yeah. It's like
You know what I mean? If you come correct and you have something set all right in your mind, I will
yeah.
always help you. But
Yeah.
just like that, no, it doesn't work like that. I'm not taking my time out of my day to say, "Hey, how are you?"
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's a great episode, and
Awesome. Thank you
we'll
so
see you
much,
next one.
man.
No worries. Have a
Thank
good
you.
one.